What's going on? Happy Tuesday. We're waiting on Marty right now. I'm sure he's over there blabbering. He sent me a he sent me this blind flight, and God only knows if we'll actually get to it or not tonight. But hey, it's fun to man. I think this might be my third week in a row that I've had. Well, second week I'll say at least. So, but hey guys, thanks for jumping in here. Greatly appreciate it. I see Top Dog. He's abandoned Marty, so for everybody listening to him blabber over there. Marty's a good guy. I'm really looking forward to the blind flight tonight. So I'll really be interested to see what he sent. He said there are going to be some pretty solid pours in here. So we'll see what exactly this is. I don't even really know the format. I've not had a chance to talk to Marty about this. So once he gets on, we'll talk a little bit more about all of this and kind of see where we're at with everything. So I'm really looking forward to tonight's blind. But let me just do this here real quick. There we go. Okay. Just wanted to catch back up on that. So anyway, hopefully everybody had a great holiday season, all of that. Man, that thing, I'll tell you what, it came and went fast. It seemed like it was just here and gone. Like it was coming kind of slow. And then all of a sudden, as soon as it got here, it was like a wave of a million things kind of going on. So let me get that out of the way. There we go. It's a little better. So anyway, but yeah, it was a crazy time. We had a good time. It was nice to just kind of lay low a little bit. We didn't have a lot going on. Neither my wife or myself have a lot of family, so typically it's just her and I a lot of the time. So it was one of those type of things. So, but anyway, let me say hi to a few people in here, and we'll kind of we'll wait for Marty to get over here, and we'll get going. But one of the things I wanted to kind of chat a little bit about were these guys that are kind of starting to drop. There are 3 new of the Four Roses mash bills at 100 proof, and I'm looking forward to kind of diving into those. I need the OESO is the one that I need to kind of complete the, I guess I'll say, trilogy of the new ones. But if you include the original, then we got the quadruple. So kind of waiting to see where I can find that one at. I think I could probably pick that up somewhere local. But anyway, Top Dog's in here. Good to see you, buddy. Who else we got in here right away? There's my man JG. Good to see you. Hey, hopefully that humidor and stuff works out for you. So if you would have lived closer, I've got several downstairs that I'm not even using. I could have just given you one. I wasn't even thinking about it, but you can always make the trip up if you really want a humidor that bad. But Forlorn, good to see you. Appreciate you jumping in tonight. Stacy, how you doing? Good to see you. Hopefully you and the husband had a great holiday season. Looked like you guys were kind of getting out and having a good old time. So if anybody hasn't subscribed to Stacy's channel, 4 Leaf Whiskey, do yourself a favor. She's kind of the I guess unofficial, official, unofficial, whatever you want to call it, ambassador for Irish whiskey. You're probably not going to learn more from anybody more than her. So she does a fantastic job with her channel and all that. Always enjoy kind of lurking and seeing exactly what's going on with that. So there's my buddy CA Scotty. Good to see you, buddy. Hey, if you are, I don't know if that's for California or not, but let me I guess say this. Watching all of that from the outside in, I mean, I don't know or couldn't even imagine what that situation out there that everybody is ultimately having to deal with. And it's hard to even, I guess, necessarily talk about that because, you don't, or I don't have any reference for what it's like to deal with something like that. I couldn't imagine having a home and watching, fire just work its way up or down. I'll say a hill for a lack of a better word. But, I guess I'll say our my thoughts and everything that can go along with that. It goes out to anybody who's affected, by that. There's a lot of people who've got family, and some people have reached out to me about some of those things, and I greatly appreciate it. There was a gentleman who sent an email this morning, and I've not gotten back to him yet, just because, I wanted to kind of digest that a little bit and just, really make sure that what I was sending back, kind of came from the heart with that. I mean, it's kind of heart-wrenching watching and hearing and seeing all these things that are going on. So, to anybody who's affected, my heart goes out to you guys. So hopefully everybody is okay. So, Mr. Hall, good to see you, buddy. I appreciate you jumping in here. What's up, Eric? Good to see you, bud. Smoking fire water. Cheers, buddy. Mr. Henson, good to see you, buddy. Right back at you. What else we got? Mr. Mays, good to see you. Yeah, we're dealing with a little cold streak here. I just checked a little while ago with the wind; it was -8. So yeah, little cool in my neck of the woods. So yeah, little bit of that. Fortunately, we don't have the snow with it, so we don't really have, I'll say, anything really on the ground at all. It's just colder than all get out. So anyway. Okay. We got here. All right, cool. So I'll maybe I'll reach out to Big Vic and just kind of see what he's going on, what he's got going on, and see what what all of that is that he's doing, and maybe kind of figure something out. So I'm in Northern California, the Bay Area, so I'm not directly impacted, but have friends that were impacted. Thank you for the, I'll tell you what, I don't know, like, I mean, I'm assuming that a lot of people within the state, who have family and relatives, can live all over the place, and directly or indirectly probably have somebody who's been affected by what it is that's going on. I don't think I've ever seen anything so I don't even know how to describe. I mean, it's just like a new fire everywhere, and just engulfing like everything. I couldn't even imagine. So and frosty is I know you guys in Ohio and all the other states that probably aren't used to getting all that cold for at least a length of time that we get it. I mean, we get cold for quite a bit. So, but yeah, I mean, having any kind of frost or anything on the inside of the car, that's probably not the best. But anyway, I'm gonna crack open. Let's see. Let me try. I had some the other night, but I want to kind of get back into this, and I'll eventually break these things down and just kind of let everybody know, maybe what, is it worth the $50? I mean, off the top of my head, I would say yes. I think really any of these kind of Four Roses, single barrel at 100 proof. Now us getting an opportunity to try them with their different recipes is kind of cool. So obviously we had the OBSV, which is kind of the OG single barrel at 100 proof. We have the OESK. I don't know how many people have these things dropped yet in your area. It sounds like it's kind of trickling out slow. The OBSF, which is kind of one of my favorites, and then the OESO, which I believe is the one that they've got, the one that I'm missing right now. So as soon as I find that bad boy, I'm going to get them open, break them down a little bit, and really kind of do mostly a comparison of them to the OBSV, just to kind of see. I think a lot of us are familiar with that OBSV kind of profile, but we'll see exactly what they are. But I really would like to just break all of them down. So, but anyway, cheers, guys. I appreciate everybody for hopping on tonight. As soon as Marty gets over here, anybody know what the status is of what it is that what he's got going on? I don't know if he's done or not yet. So just let me know in the comments. So, hey, Mary, how's it going? I've got I see Mary just jumped in here. So speaking of that, I've got a video that I'm actually working on recording tomorrow, which is a bottle of the Detling that Mary was nice enough to have given me a couple of months ago when we did the meetup with Phil and Julie of the Bourbon Van. So I'm looking forward to kind of getting into that. I'm not going to tip my hand or anything on that yet, but Marty's passed out truck. So I'm working on that, and I think that's going to be, I'll tell you what, this Detling, for anybody who's either not familiar or have not really kind of gotten into them, I'll say this right now. I think it's definitely worth picking up a bottle and trying. I don't think that even if you bought it at, whatever the price is, I think you'll appreciate what that has to offer. So anyway, you'll see. I'm working on some video stuff tomorrow. Actually, most of the day tomorrow is kind of a big recording day for me. But anyway, cheers, guys. Thanks for joining tonight. And I guess raise a glass to anybody who, may be affected out there by all those, fires in California. So cheers. Yeah, that OESK is nice. Get a little bit of kind of a green apple on that. Spicy, nice caramel. I guess my first impression would be maybe almost like a salty caramel apple is kind of what it's coming across as to me. That's the one thing I do like about a lot of the Four Roses. I think it always has this nice like spice factor. Again, they don't blow you away ever with big, heavy, bold, like kind of flavor profiles. It is much more of a softer kind of feeling profile, but still has really nice overall flavors. That's one thing that's always made for me Four Roses kind of one of my favorites is they hit you with this more kind of elegant profile with all of those flavors again without being big, huge, big, bold, heavy, dark fruits. It's really never that kind of stuff. You may get some of those light red fruits, but nothing ever big and huge. Even when you're talking about, some of the LEs that have a lot of those, when you have a lot of those, older whiskeys, even in the blends with the LEs, you never really get completely blown away. Like, like the Al Young, like the 50th, as great as that was, I've had a lot of bottles that were ultimately probably better in my mind. But again, it's an elegant kind of easy sipping, just beautiful, beautiful whiskey. So anyway. Mm. Yeah, salty caramel apple. OESK. Really, really kind of dig that. Yeah, the one thing I do wish they don't have, the ones I've had anyway, don't have any of the neck tags. I don't know if they even come with a neck tag or even anything that gives a slight profile or anything that people can reference that they used to. I don't know if they do, if they kind of put a hang tag or a neck tag or whatever you want to call it on there anymore to give people an idea of what that particular recipe may offer. But so far, yeah, that OESK, man, maybe like a salty caramel apple is really what it's kind of coming across for as me. But he's talking about his, he could be chattering with himself. I'm sure he's trying to get his what together at this point. So but anyway, let me ask you guys this. For a bourbon or rye or whatever it may be, for like a nightcap or something along those lines, I'm always interested in this. What is it that you kind of go to, maybe in the evening? I'm always interested to kind of hear what the proof point is people kind of wrap the evening up with. Generally speaking, I'm, kind of in that 100, maybe 105 range, something like that. I don't usually get into, especially during the week, a lot of the big high proof stuff. So for me, if I'm just sitting around watching a program or something at night, depends, I guess, on what it is. But there are times where I'll have a more heavier proof, but oftentimes if I just want to sit there and sip something that's kind of easy, I'm kind of in that 100, 105 range, maybe 110, depending on what it is. But, I'm always interesting to hear what you guys kind of sip on, throughout the evening. If it's not like a weekend or something and you're really kind of getting after it, but what's the proof, and then what's the maybe the bottle. So yeah, I can see that 110, 115. Again, a lot of us are easy to to kind of get into those types of things. So live in color. All right, so look at this guy. All right, here he is. I feel like I've got it. I see him back there. He's waving. I don't know what he's doing. He does look like he's got his pants on still. So that's it for right now. So let me let me not waste any more time because this is probably going to be feels like a long evening. Knowing Marty after this, I feel like we're going to probably be talking to about 1 a.m. Marty, he is an awesome dude, as everybody knows, but I do feel like at times it's like talking with one of my younger sisters. We can chat all night long, like one of the youngins. So anyway, without further ado, the man of the hour.
So I'm the younger sister. I dig it.
You feel like the younger sister. You know, it just gotta the talks and you know, I could set the foot down, walk away for about 10 minutes, come back, and it's still part of the conversation. Not that that's a bad thing or anything like that, but you know. And it's great. You got a good personality. You like to have a good time. It's better than sitting there and just saying nothing.
Sorry. I mean, me and Jason, I mean, that was a kind of like what you're kind of getting ready to do. We had a little epic night, and I thank God I started 10 minutes earlier. I don't know, but I did okay. I did all right, I think, with what he sent me. I got the first one really well with proof and guesses and all that stuff. But then that's, as you will see, and you start second guessing yourself as you try to talk through it.
Yep.
But no, I got to try some stuff, and I got to try the.
I was interested. I was kind of tuning in a little bit.
The first one I tried.
Yeah.
The Remus pick, the single barrel pick.
Okay.
Dude, that damn thing! I threw American whiskey at it at first. And kept going because of the sweet notes and everything. And I said high rye and all that. And I said it was fruity chocolate with a little spicy cake leather. I guess 119 proof, and it was 117. So that thing is everything you hope it would be.
Yeah. I've heard a lot of great things about the Remus single barrels and stuff. So I think that's kind of a good thing, you know, in today's market, with it probably being, you know, priced pretty aggressively or affordable. I mean, what is it? $50?
Yeah. Between 50 and 69. It depends on the age on them.
Yeah. Okay. All right. But yeah, it's a good. So what did, so I guess let's just give a little breakdown. So Jason sent you a blind, correct? Is that what it was?
Yep.
All right. You went through 5.
Yeah. God, I didn't write down what everything was. We had the Seal Box 15.
Loved it.
When I did it in a blind, I was really disappointed in the mouthfeel.
Really?
And since I didn't get that viscous mouthfeel, of course, you know, your instinct is to drop everything a little bit.
Yep.
That was the worst one, I think, of the group I did.
Really?
Yeah. And then the second one was this year's Four Roses, 2024.
The LE?
Yeah. No, thin again. Didn't do it for me. And what was great is I went through that when Jason was like, yeah, keep going. You're getting it. I can see where you're getting this. And I was like, dude, it started throwing me, and I kind of threw a high rye at it. I said 117 proof 8 year. And then when we went through it, I was like, okay. So.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, so it is, and I would just actually, before you kind of hopped on, I was kind of going through, there's all those new kind of 100 proof different recipes that are coming out from Four Roses, and I'm missing the OESO, but I'm interested to kind of go sit down with these things, do a video, and just kind of figure out what each one has to offer, maybe which one comes across as maybe the most approachable to me, and just kind of see, because, you know, we've all had an opportunity to try the OBSV, which is just kind of the OG, and that they've been doing for years. But now they've introduced the OBSF, OESK, and OESO, which is the one I'm missing right now. So as soon as I get that final one, I'm going to kind of jump into them, and I'm
going to wait till they hit here. I could get people to find them, you know, like our group, but I don't want them to have to worry about shipping, because I think they're going to be pretty standard. I don't know if you talked about it, Scott, before I got here, but I know me and Jason hit on it, and we think it's kind of a hard pass at the moment because we don't really know a price point. But the Woodford Double Oaked is going to be available nationwide outside of the distillery.
Yeah.
So I was like, I like Double Oak, but I don't know, maybe a taste of the Double. But
I thought they were, maybe Jason and I were talking, or somebody I was talking with, I thought they were going to be releasing that in 750s. Is that correct? Or are they still 375?
I don't know. They may be.
Okay. Yeah.
But I'm not going to pay premium for it. I'm not going to do that.
Hey, Marine, how's it going? Clearly the better half of the franchise has shown up. So yeah, I was kind of interested to
700 Fritz said.
Yeah, okay, 750s. Yeah, so or 700s. Okay, so that'll be interested. Yeah,
Holy
$200
shit.
for.
Are you serious, Tommy?
Eesh.
No thanks.
So here's the thing. Like, if you could get that for, again, $200 and it was going to be at cast strength, great. I think when you start getting into that, that kind of price range, especially now, you better hit people with something more than, what is their stuff, 94.5 proof or 93.5 or whatever all their stuff, 90.4. I don't know what it is, something like that. But no one, I just don't know why anybody would want to pay $200 for that. And it's kind of, I mean, this is weird that we're talking about this, but it's kind of like this guy right here. As I thought it was a nice 100 proofer, right? But for $200 at 100 proof, it was maybe my most disappointing bottle of the year. I liked it. It wasn't that I hated it. I was disappointed because they spun the thing in a direction that it felt like it was only going to be, at the time, like a very kind of smallish release. And then it just exploded and it was like everywhere, $200 or 180 or whatever it was. I don't know. 100.
Well, that bottle, I like that bottle, Scottish, right here. I like that bottle. I had Tommy's the Bourbon Jerks when we were at the meetup, and I had just a splash because he was so grateful to share it with everybody and just pay $230, whatever it was with tax.
Mm-hmm.
And then I found it in North Carolina right before Thanksgiving, I guess my birthday, 1st of November, and I bought it at $194 plus tax. And then when me and Corvette Trey and Trey Boyd and Kevin Pierce had it, cracked it at Trey's house, and I think it's okay if you don't put it against something else.
Yeah,
because I think there's just I'm trying to make sense of it for everybody. It's like you do get this 16-year dusty for a second or two on the finish.
Yeah,
and then it's gone. The viscosity's not there that everybody wants, that mouthfeel for 16-year. You're going to get more than mouthfeel on the 114.
Yeah, you just don't have the proof that's going to allow for a lot of that to happen. And unless you're getting something that's drinking above its belt, you're just not going to get that. That proof is not there to kind of hold up. So yeah, at 100 proof and $200, even though they've got 16-year-old whiskey, I don't know. It was kind of a tough pill to swallow, but I wanted it. I didn't want to walk away. I felt like at the time when we were all there getting these bottles, that when I left there, I didn't know if there was going to be a chance I could get one. And lo and behold, by the time I got home, there was like a liquor store that had them. I'm like, how did this get spun into this being like a distillery thing? And then all of a sudden they're in every other state within like a week. So anyway,
it's funny, when I never saw it when we left Kentucky, and we're talking about a month and a half later.
Yeah,
we were going back to Tennessee, and I always call it Mount Pilot, but it's actually called Pilot Mountain. There's a little bitty liquor store there that's the whole county store that it's like a mile and a quarter from the interstate. I always stop there, and I saw it, and I was like, God Almighty, and I got back in the car, started leaving, and I told Jenny, I said, shit, they had that old granddad 16-year, and she goes, you didn't buy it? I was like, no, I think I'm okay. I'm gonna walk.
Yeah.
She said, well, it is your birthday weekend. I think you ought to go back in there. And I was like,
do you feel a little bit disappointed that was the bottle you got the okay
I
on?
didn't find anything for the next 2 trips back to Tennessee until we went to Chattanooga. Right. And I picked up a few things that,
I mean, it's a nice, and we were kind of chatting before we get into this blind that you were nice enough to send me. What I think about it is it's a nice kind of evening pour. It's one of those things you get a really nice just overall flavor profile that it has without getting completely blown away. You just wish it was like maybe, I know it's not going to be $50 or $60 because of the age stuff that they have in there. But again, at the same time, it's Beam. They probably have a ton of that stuff. They have to, so do they really need to go that high? Like the reserves was $75 less or some give or take. And it was, to me, a far superior bottle. I absolutely love the Booker's Reserves this year. So anyway, I'll get off the old rant.
Well, I mean, that's the thing is, you and Jason with the club and everything, y'all have more of an idea and feel of what barrels are in these places.
Yeah.
But, let's say they left this at 114, 119 proof.
Mm-hmm.
And how much of that yield shrank to where, I don't know, would it turn into a BTAC? I mean, that's where it's like,
yeah,
the give and take on it is kind of makes you scratch your head. And it's like, are you happy to get this?
Yeah.
Because I think for me, and I know this plays no part in anything we do in whiskey too, but I think that's the prettiest label of 2024.
Yeah, I mean, it totally stands out. I mean, with that yellow label and the kind of the copper colored, bourbon and everything. I mean, the presentation of it is absolutely fantastic. Yeah, I mean, to try that at, that recipe at Castro would be interesting. Even maybe 110 proof would be kind of cool. So anyway, but well, all right, rather than waste any more time, why don't you tell me, because I have no idea what we're doing. I've got them poured in A through F order. Hopefully that was okay.
All right, there's several people in chat now that have what you're doing, so no pressure.
Okay,
that's what I've been texting to some people. Okay, we'll just go through them. There's no rhyme or reason to this. What we're going to do is kind of like what Jason did with me and what we do on my channels. Okay. We'll go through them and you talk about what you like about it. Okay. And then we'll break it down after you had a nose and a taste, and we'll try to make sense of what your guesses are. And if you want to, we can tell you what it is after you get done with A, or we can wait till you get done with F.
Yeah, let's just wait until the end, right. And then I'll kind of try to go through these and keep it a little bit, kind of.
Because you may want to go back through too, but I knew me and Jason were strict a little bit on time, but yeah. Before you do that, I've got to go check the plumbing real quick. So you go ahead and start sniffing nose and A, and I'll be here.
All right, let's get into the sniffing. I think that's an official word, by the way, too. Sniffing. All right, let's get into this thing. Definitely got some oak to it. Oh, it feels older, like an older whiskey. Really nice kind of chocolate, maybe some raisin notes. Yeah, it's coming across as a definitely an older whiskey profile. Man, some nice fruit notes that are there. Sounds sophisticated. Yeah, Krista, get a hold of that guy right above you. Get a hold of this guy right here. Someone's got to keep that guy under control, I'll tell you. Anyway. Yeah, there's almost like I guess I'll say a little bit of almost a smokiness. I'm guessing it's that oak that's coming through.
I've only got a little bit of these left, Scott, and I'll do them with you as we do them.
All right.
Maybe.
Yeah, this has got some, I mean, it's really a really nice layered bourbon. So is it okay if I taste this one now?
Oh, yeah. Do what you want to do, man.
Okay. All right, well, it's got some.
I'll tell you this, Scott. I didn't do a whiskey of the year. I just did like new distilleries of 2024. I want to do something different. But if this was in it, the whiskey of the year, it'd be a top 5.
Yeah, it's a really, really nice whiskey. I mean, it definitely has that older whiskey profile. Beautiful finish, great baking spices, really nice oak, not over oaked.
Yeah,
it definitely has that feel of a whiskey that's in that. Man, I don't even know. Like, it feels like it's, I don't know. I'm gonna say like a minimum of 10 years old. Like, it feels like a nice.
That I don't know.
Nice drinkable whiskey. Well, if you don't know,
there's people here that do. Don't worry, we got it covered. I think that's an easy crushable daily sipper. right there, if available. If available.
It feels like it definitely feels like it's got some proof. Good, really nice finish to it. Maybe a little hint of dryness that's there. Good, like chocolates. Does give you that fruit note. Maybe even some like brown sugars. Boy, man, I really like A. I mean, A's starting off with a bang. That's for sure. I'm really kind of digging that. Proof wise, it feels like, man, I don't even know. I'm gonna say, I don't know, maybe like 117. Might even be a little bit higher than that, to be honest. Guess I'm just trying to think of like what that is. It's not giving me a feel of like a beam. I'm not getting any like nuttiness or anything like that. Same thing that it doesn't feel like it's a like a Heaven Hill product either.
This one for me, when I first got this bottle, was herbal, and it had a little pine methanol vanilla.
That was your dip.
Yeah, it might have been, but that for me, that you know what? I'll just quit talking because I think you just explained what Skull meant.
Yeah,
but,
I mean it's definitely
that's really what it was, not on the bottle crack. But as I got back into it, the more the age I thought kicked, I thought the mouthfeel picked up on it, and I thought that the more I went back to it is why it bumped itself up on my list.
The finish for me kind of finishes on the sweet side with those chocolate, dark fruit. There's a lot of this almost starting to feel like I don't want to say quite like confectionery, but maybe a little bit of like a pastry. Man, I'm kind of thrown for a loop on that one a little bit. That's
fine. Don't
nice.
Put a whole lot into it. We got more to go. And we can come back if you want to, or
yeah. Okay. All right. Let's move on.
Whatever you want to do.
Let's move on to B. So let me just take. I'm gonna take. Actually, before I do that, let me I'll take a couple notes.
You're going to B. I've got it here. Let me get into it with you. All I've got left of that.
Yeah, B or A was really nice.
Good. I promise you won't be disappointed in these.
All right, Mike, coming off
I'll do this one with you. Got a little bit here.
All right, coming off of A. Man, this feels a little bit. Yeah, this is definitely. I don't want to say. I don't want to say softer. It's not softer.
It's mouth coating. I think you haven't tried it yet, but for me,
no. Yeah, again, it does have. I'll say some of the similar kind of nosing properties of.
There's
one.
A floral ever. What did I call that?
Effervescence.
Yeah, it's kind of got like a floral.
It's bright.
Yeah, it's very bright floral, and then the proof kind of kicks.
Oh yeah, boy, that kind of like that really nice kind of like cherry note that's there, that fruit note. Now that's got that's like a softer feel. Like it's a little more velvety. Does have like kind of a nice mouth feel. It does kind of like lighten, like when I say lighten up, I mean, or light up kind of like as the finish starts to really set in, that spice kind of is late on this one for me.
I'm going back through my notes on this one, Scott, and I have candy apple kind of on both the nose and the palate as it opened up.
Boy.
That doesn't mean you'll get it, but I did after.
It feels like to me with with this that it has a higher like barley content in it. And I'm getting like a lot of like, I know you had mentioned like fruit. I'm kind of getting a little bit of that more like kind of green apple caramels. Man, to be honest, it kind of reminds me a little bit of a Four Roses, to be honest. This guy. I'll tell you. I think he must just sit. I don't think he has a job. I just think he sits at home all day and just tries to come up with all kinds of like things.
About the ball-headed one down here, yeah, sure. He's doing dry January too, so he really doesn't know what he's talking about.
I don't believe in that. All right,
all right. It throws your ecosystem and your metabolism off the rack.
All right, so
almost nice an antique store now.
Yeah, it does definitely give you those.
Yep.
Those older, yeah. I mean, both of these are giving you those older whiskey vibes a little bit. That's for sure. It does definitely give you a little bit of an older whiskey profile, which I think a lot of people would really appreciate with.
That's my job. See,
nice.
Scotty, what's up?
Well, that's good. You're very good at it. You're very good at it. So
yeah, I sent you a text. I think you got it.
All right, let me. I gotta go through these a little bit quicker. Actually, let me get a little bit of before I dive into that. All right, let's see. All right, letter C. Or as the other ones say, number C.
I don't have any more of that one.
Well, this definitely is coming across much spicier. Little more, maybe a little more nutty. But what is that?
It's his channel, Ben, so eat shit.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
I had to pay Jason. Scott's price is too high.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I paid Marty to be here. Boy, C is really nice, man. Here's what I'll say about all three of them so far. They are similar from the standpoint of that dark, deep, rich, complex kind of feel. They all feel like they've got some ages behind them. Man, I'm like, it's really, it's, I not that I,
what I think my goal with this blind, Scott, I don't give a shit how close you are with proof. That's great. We can do all that at the end. Yeah. But I think what I want to see you do is put them in order.
Which ones I prefer?
Yeah, I want you to go through them, and then we'll work our way back. Like, okay, this one I'm going to eliminate now, or whatever. You know, that's my goal here.
Yep. Okay. All right.
So
I'll get a better.
You write down everything that you're guessing, because I'm just listening and I'm tasting along, and I know what I've sent you.
Okay. So. All right. All right. So now I'm on letter D.
Okay.
Boy, again, more fruit, more that kind of
I have that one.
So. Almost like a strawberry, like raspberry. Little bit lighter, but bright. It's D is a little bit brighter.
D comes across a little bit young on the nose for me, but pungent, like it's got a punch.
Yeah.
Without it being tannic or lactone.
Yeah, it just
it's not that.
Yeah, it's like for me, like yeah, that's weird. I was almost gonna say like a little bit of I have strawberry raspberry. I was almost gonna say like watermelon. There's almost this like kind of like that feel to it.
It's definitely a light fruit. It's a Yeah.
we've definitely kind of changed. I'll say, like, in terms of age and complexity. I think the first three are kind of blowing 4 away from that standpoint. I don't feel like we've got that kind of age. It's bright, maybe slightly hotter.
Yes, Ed. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's nice. I think for me, like with D, the finish seems to kind of fall off, and I feel like it's maybe longer right now than it would be if I was just drinking this, because I think the other three are kind of impacting that a little bit. So I don't know.
What do you let me ask you, take you a drink of water. What do you think the proof of D is?
Let me go back real quick. Yeah, see, I mean, it's drinking hot and spicy a little bit. The first three were, again, much a better balance, more complex, but
What the hell's this?
yeah, proof wise, I don't know. I'm gonna say maybe. Man, it's hard to
It's
hard
okay.
to tell right now.
That's not the goal of this blind whatsoever, but I'm just curious what you think.
Yeah, definitely has a spicier finish. And again, I don't know if that's the spice or a little bit of the proof, or that it's a little bit younger, or a combination of all three. But again, that one thing that's maintained for me all along has been this kind of like summer fruit feel, strawberry, raspberry, maybe even like a slight watermelon. I don't know, maybe a little bit of like a light citrus that's there. Interesting. Yeah, that one's kind of throwing me for a loop there. It's not even like an overly familiar profile to me. So. All right, I'll get to E. I gotta take smaller sips. I don't need this to be solidarity number 2.
I just sent Rob McCorkle the list, and my handwriting looks like a fucking second grader. And he goes, "Were you 100% fucked up when you wrote this down?" And I was like, "Yeah, probably." So everybody I sent it to,
everybody just has a different key. Nobody knows what it actually is.
I apologize and be with
I feel like if there's a percentage, like maybe we're in that 10% range that actually we're not all going to be on the same page tonight. Is that a possibility?
And be with the starving pygmies down in New Guinea. Thank you, Lord. Fuck.
All right, all right. So
sure. What would your choice for a thermo? Oh, don't get me started on this piece of shit.
Why? It's not working for you still?
No, I sent him an email, and she goes, "Yeah, it's supposed to be heating," and I was like, "It's not been above 55 degrees since I got it." And she's like, "Well, I think what you need to do is take your cigars out of it." And I said, "Do you think?" And I was like, "No." So, but I did, Scott, our little get together we had last week. I put them in overnight to see if it raised the heat, and it didn't.
Yeah.
So I immediately put them back in my small humidor so they wouldn't go bad. So she wants me to make a video and show what it's doing, what I've got. So
and you're just gonna send that to her?
Yeah. She's gonna let her engineering team look at it.
Oh, all right. Well, that's interesting. Well, I
really want this to work because I want to fill it up.
Yeah. So the one I've got downstairs, I got both the 23L from
I've got.
Yeah, the 23L and the 16L from Need One. And I've always had like really, really good luck. I've got one in a completely different area. And right now, the smaller one that I've got in another area, I mean, I set them just to see exactly what they would do. But the 16L is staying spot on. And again, it's in a little bit of a warmer area, but it's staying like right at 70. And I was just testing that out with no cigars in it just to see if that will hold. And it is so far. But
she told me last night in the email, she goes, unplug it, plug it back in to the actual wall socket I did. And right now it's at 5770. And I've had all the lights on in here. I've got heat going, and that's as hot as it is right now.
Yeah. Yeah, Jonathan, if you want to just send me an email, I can chat with you or give you a couple recommendations. It's just mybourbonjourney01@gmail.com. So just shoot
and
me
need
that.
one, Jonathan, whatever the issue is here, they're going to fix it. So it could have been something broken shipping or whatever, but when I first set it up and got it going and I did my review, it was spot on. And I don't know, something just kicked, but it's going to get fixed. They're good people.
Yeah, their customer service has been some of the best. I mean, I've had some questions and stuff for them. They're always very good about getting back to you. But yeah, Jonathan, if you want to send me something, feel free to. So, all right. So I'm on letter E.
E.
Boy, like
right
E. This is kind of odd. I'm getting this like
almost.
I'm getting this like almost.
Yeah, no,
like bubble gum note.
Damn right. You know what? I'm gonna say this. It's not this, but I want you to think about this for a second. Eagle Rare store pick.
Oh, there's no way this could be. There's no way that could be this.
No, but I'm talking about the bubble gum.
Oh, maybe a little bit. Yeah. In fairness, it's been a while since
I wouldn't do that to you, but no,
yeah, I mean, there's a 0% chance this is a 90 proof whiskey. I can tell you that right now.
But the bubble gum,
yeah, so, definitely get some bubble gum that's there. Feels like it's got a nice spice or heat level to it. Shit, that's nice. That's got some proof. That might have the most. Damn, that's nice.
That damn finish goes for days and days.
Yeah, beautiful oak. What I love about it, like right away, is the balance of it is fantastic. You don't have like a bunch of different things just jumping out. Like it feels like it's just very, very well done. Man, that spice lingers for forever.
Yep. But you know what, though, Scott? When you nose it, it won't set you on fire.
No, I don't think you get. I don't think you get that.
That's where
it falls. If for me, it's starting to fall into the category of A, B, and C. Like those had a lot of these, like kind of similar, easy for me to say, characteristics to it. So, no, Benny, it's not. It's definitely not. I don't think it's a benchmark foolproof. I don't think it's that. Yeah, nose wise, I'm almost getting this honestly like a chocolate pecan, something like that.
Yep. It's dark.
It's definitely dark. Yeah,
it's dark.
This feels like it'd be one of those whiskeys you'd really want to kind of maybe give yourself a nice little pour and just sip it over the course of the evening. Just kind of like let it see what it does.
I think I told Katie and Ethan when I tasted this one for the first time, I said, I can imagine this with a Maduro.
Yeah, something like this could definitely hold up to, a big, rich, cigar with really, really nice wrapper, something that's got like those heavy leather and tobacco notes, maybe more kind of, Barney, something like that.
Yeah, Ed, mine's set at 68, and right now it's at 57. So yeah, there's something that just needs to be done to it.
Yeah, Jonathan, it's My Bourbon Journey 01. Hang on a second, at gmail.com. Let me just throw this up there. There you go. So yeah, just shoot me an email if you have any questions. I can try to point you in the right direction. So I know JG was just looking. He might have a good option for you as well, because a lot of the Need One, to be honest, a lot of those have sold out. So
yeah, they're on Amazon. The link's on mine and Scott's reviews. So
yeah,
get over there and let us know. What's up, Roy? Sorry, Scott. I'm gonna cut my camera so I can pour the last one. I've got to grab it.
Yep, that's fine. Yep. Yeah, E's a really, really, really nice whiskey. Man, it's almost coming across a little bit. Yeah, it's yeah, no problem at all. It's almost coming across a little bit. Boy, that chocolate pecan that's there. I don't want to say like stag or something like that, but man, it's I don't feel like it's drinking. I don't think it's drinking quite as proofy as some of those can be. So, well, welcome. Thanks for stumbling in. We appreciate it. Yeah, so it's so far I think for me, like maybe the leader of the group right now might be A, to be honest. I mean, it's got a lot, it's got a lot going on, but it just feels like one of those whiskeys that, man, you could really just sit down and take
crushable.
Yeah, take your time. I feel like it's crushable, but it can be dangerous from the standpoint of the proof that could be behind this. I feel like it does probably have a little bit of proof that's there. I should have shameless plug. I should have taken one of these things before this.
I did, buddy. I got the open box right here.
Shameless Z-Biotics plug right there.
Two left, full one here and full downstairs. I know better.
Yeah, they do work. That's for darn
sure.
Hell,
it ain't gonna hurt you now.
No, I know. All right, let's get
into. I really like F.
Oh, you really? Okay, all right.
I don't know if you're there yet. Don't get there if you're not. If you're still on E.
Yeah, no, I'm moving on to F because I want to start to go back through them and just kind of see what.
Okay.
All right. See now F is more of a. To me, like just nosing it so far, I don't feel like F is in the league with E. Just nosing it. It's coming across as a little bit like a little more.
Lance,
a little more youthful. There's Lance. What's up, my man? Good to see you, buddy. Ben, I'll tell you, where do these guys come up with this stuff? I'll tell you, you guys are too much sometimes. Wouldn't that be funny if I knew what if I could figure out like either Chinese or Japanese? He sent me that. He's just giving me all the answers. Wouldn't that be funny? All right, boy. F is
smoky barrel.
I don't know if I'm getting as much of that, but it's a little more. It's a little more. I guess I don't want to say citrusy, but it's a little bit more in that kind of camp. Boy,
I love this one. I love this one.
I'm drinking Fortuna. 8 summers and it's affecting me.
Josh.
Nice.
For Old Tub.
Nice.
For benchmark.
What's up, Johnny? Thanks for jumping in. Appreciate it. I don't think they have Chinese for Old Tub. Nice. Man. There's something that's there that's very different. I don't know if it's like minty. Let me try to figure out what this is. There's one single thing that's there that's different. That's kind of throwing me for a loop a little bit. And I'm trying to figure out what in the world that is. Maybe it is a little bit kind of like smoky or something. Little ham hockey there.
Ham hockey.
Yeah, that's a little different. See, I feel like whatever this is would be like a really nice kind of whiskey for somebody who's in between both Scotch and bourbon. Like I feel like you could give that to like either and it would work like really well. Man, what is that? There's something that's there. I don't know if it's like it's something that's sweet though. It's like a sweet
JG fucking shit.
Basil hates smoke. I'll tell you.
Oh,
Chris, she's clearly gone. She's like lost control of this guy. He's still just lingering around. Jesus. Someone needs to like Hannibal Lecter this guy and get him a mask or something. Keep him or something. Keep his fingers locked in is what he needs. So, you know what it is? It feels like a like a Sour Patch Kid or something. There's this sweet like candy feel to it, like a Jolly Rancher or something.
I think the nose of it has just such a sweet barrel note.
Yeah, it definitely feels a little smoky. Like there's some smoke that's behind that. What do you feel like this could be like a really nice like a gateway whiskey for somebody who either likes or dislikes either bourbon and or Scotch? Like I feel like that could be a good one. I don't know. I don't know.
I'll tell you,
it does feel a little. It does come across with that like profile that it has. It does come across a little bit as like a light whiskey. Is kind of what it feels.
See that?
Kind of what it feels like a little bit. Yeah, because it's very yeah, it's like almost like to me, like it has this like green apple like candy that it's got with a nice spice. Little bit of smoke that's there on it. It's interesting. It's not something that feels like familiar. So
could you age state it? You think?
All right, here you go, Boomer. Give that a whirl. I don't know if that helps you or not, but hold it up to the camera and let me try. All right, that's about what it's kind of coming across. Even on the camera, I don't think it's quite as, maybe it's a little darker. It's not as dark as maybe it's showing up on the camera, but boy, if I age stated that thing, I don't know. I mean, it's not coming across as overly like agey, but again, at the same time, you can get those light whiskeys that have this profile that are, 15 to 20 years old. So, that age for a light whiskey can really kind of throw you off. So I don't know. If I was going to go with a light whiskey, my default would be to it being aged just because that's what most of them are to give that profile. Boy, it is really coming across as, man, that's like, that's interesting. I was just like trying to like think of like some of the light whiskeys or like a Canadian whiskey or something that I've had, like maybe it could be like a Found North or something, but I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen you with Found North at all before.
No, I promise you, it's not that. This, I'll give you this much. This is available online right now. Really? And I'll tell you this, Scott, I like it so much. I have 2 of them.
Really? All right. Let me ask you.
I don't do that a lot.
All right. Well, let me ask you this. So what is it about this that you enjoy that much?
I love the mouthfeel. I love the dark, rich sugar barrel note that's on the nose and the palate. I love the little bit of fruit kick. It's not what's the word? Bitter enough to be a fruity zest. It's more of a maybe a cooked stewed, maybe a cobbler. I don't know, man. I'm just getting way too deep, but
Josh kind of hit.
I think this one, Scott, you could pick it to death for an hour.
Yeah, I mean, I think it has all of those
sugar.
Yeah, I think it has all of what it is that you've described, like what I have. I mean, it is very like sweet, little bit of smoke that's there. Really nice spice again, but that kind of like light, kind of light citrus fruit that's there, like a green apple. Those are there. Light caramels, good spice that it has to it. It drinks. I mean, it drinks very much like, I know Josh said Buffalo Trace. I don't think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be that, because I don't think there's going to be anything that they would have necessarily had. And it's higher than 100 proofs. I don't think it's any of their bottle and bond stuff. It feels like feels higher than that, but yeah, I don't know. It's kind of coming across as a as kind of a light whiskey. I like it. I don't know if it would be something I would want to go to, like more like where I really go to is like E, and then like A, B, and C. Like those are kind of like the ones that would be like defaults to me. So let me go through, let me start to go back through some of these things, and I'll start
take your time, man, because this I'll just tell you, this is an epic blonde. And
you definitely have some whiskeys in here that have some age and some richness and some complexity, that whether it's things that people can get or not, which I maybe doubt some of this stuff is. But
yeah,
you know,
there's a couple that's available.
Yeah.
What's up, Andrew?
The other thing was, there was a couple of them that were kind of coming across a little bit as a little bit of what Jonathan does with K. Luke. It was a little bit of that in some of these things too. So when you get into some of those like blending things, I don't think it's F, but let me start to go back through E a little bit and see. But I was starting to kind of like think of like some things that I've had that were similar to that. And E's nice as well, but man, that bubble gum, which is odd, that's not something I get very, very often.
Right.
What's up, Andrew? Good to see you, buddy. Hopefully you're doing well. Man, the proof, I don't know, Boomer. I don't know that on E. I mean, it's probably
50 in the chat. Cheers, guys.
I don't know. I mean, it could be I don't know, maybe 117 to 120 proof, something like that. All right, let me go back to E and let's see what we got. Man, E is nice. Heavy, rich, dark.
Gummy,
yeah. I mean, like chocolate, dark, brown sugars, even like molasses that's there.
It's funny, the chocolate stops and there's no leather tobacco. It just chocolate.
It feels like to me like all of that really starts to show up on the finish. Like as it just sits there, that's where a lot of that, maybe even a little hint of dryness. But again, that's probably where I would define that as that like leather and tobacco. That's much more on the finish, like late. But overall, I mean, it does have some nice sweetness, great balance that it has to it. Overall, it's a really, really, really nice whiskey, that E. Man, it might be hard to beat. Might be hard to beat E, but I want to get back to A, B, and C. I think D was one. I think D was kind of the one that felt a little bit younger, more kind of summer fruits, strawberry, raspberry. Interesting. sweet. I mean, it almost has this kind of like confectionery note to it a little bit. Yeah, see, my issue with D would be there's not enough a lot of these or bourbons, right, whatever they are, that are very like bright and almost like American whiskey like ish. And that also, you know, F and D kind of come across as that a little bit, where it's bright, like there's some effervescence to it, like it does sit on the palate nice. But it does just kind of seem to like kind of, I don't want to say fall apart, but it's not like a rich bourbon like I enjoy. So if I was gonna sit down with a whiskey, D probably wouldn't be one of those. Not to say that it's not good, but it's not necessarily something that I look for. Like D and F are probably two that I would steer a little bit more away, because it feels, I don't want to say like youthful, but it feels younger. When you start getting into those dark, rich, heavy profiles like E, A, B, and C, like that's when I really start to appreciate or enjoy a really, really nice whiskey. So no, I'm not a solidarity anymore. I'm a long way from that. Let me tell you, Ed, I'm a long way from that. So AOL. JG AOL solitaire. I'll tell you, this guy. I'll tell you, anybody lucky. How do you like block people from your channel? Is that a possibility? So there's some considerations going on tonight. No, I'm just kidding. Kinda. All right, so let's see. D. All right, so F. All right, so like, all right, let me go back to C. This is where it's going to get interesting. I think.
Sure.
C, B, and A are going to be very much like in the running. I'm trying to figure out like how I'm going to kind of place these things right now. Man, I like C. Little smoky on that one. Yeah, C is very interesting. Again, I think it feels like it's got some age. The oak is showing up like it's a whiskey that I don't know if it's a double oak or not, but there's definitely some barrel influence that it has to it. You do get a little bit more of that leather tobacco's kind of feel to it. Man, I am kind of like thrown for a loop for like what some of these things like might be. I don't know if I could. I don't know.
Scott, you could look at it like this. Let's say we're sitting here and we've got these as barrel picks. I know they're different animals, but like we can look at it like I think this would be great for the group, kind of thing. And then we can eliminate or do whatever you want to do down the line. Because I know this is hard because I know what I sent you.
Yeah, I mean, the easy part is, I mean, I know what I like. You know, I know what I like. That's one thing. Let me do this here real quick. All right, there you go. There you go, Johnny. You're now officially a moderator. So I saw you weren't blue. I should take one from JG. I feel like I should take one and give one. That's what I feel like. So
yeah,
man.
Top dog.
Yeah, how do you do the you can't do the timeout stuff anymore, can you?
Yeah, you can if you're a mod on
yeah,
YouTube,
timeout.
I think.
I don't think you can time out like another moderator. So I must have been.
Oh no, I don't think you can do
I
that.
must have been intoxicated the night I made JG a moderator. I see he's got a wrench or something, but screws are loose. That's for sure.
Screws are loose.
All right. So C, man, C is interesting. Let me go back to B real quick.
Yeah, let's pick a couple barrels here. I think that's a cool way to do it. Because you're not going to be wrong on anything you say.
I like B.
All right.
I like E and B right now so far in terms of like going through them and then going back. Like B has this like beautiful balance, and then this spice like comes late in the finish. It's got like a good like age feel to it. It doesn't drink overly hot. It's got just this incredible balance to it. It's very like on par with what it is that E has going on with it. So like B is B and E are front runners right now. So
okay. Try C again.
I don't want to. Try C again. I feel like you're gonna try to influence me a little bit. That's what it feels like. All right.
I just know how much I like
you were nice enough to send me this. I'll try C.
No, do what you want to do, dude. This is all you, man. Don't do anything, out of the context you want to do. But I just love C and F. So we would go back and forth.
Okay, all right.
This would be like for everybody in chat. If me and Scott and Jason are on a pick, this is where me and Scott are off by ourselves and starting to snow. And he's like, "Fuck, Marty, pick a bottle or pick a barrel. Let's go." And I'll be like, "All right, Scott, E." And he's like, "No, fuck, no, it's F." I'm like, "Okay, fine."
Well, we always have these bottles. I mean, a lot of people know like what it is that I want to do, and what Jason likes, and it works really well. But this is also one of the fun parts of this. This is what allows you to find, and I'll say this like as a blanket statement, when we have a group of people together doing these picks, this is what makes it fun and interesting, is that all of these different dynamics are what helps us select, I'll say like a great barrel of whiskey at whatever it is they put in front of us. We're going to try to find the best possible thing. Yeah. And it comes with a lot of breakdown and all of that. So that's what I really
thing, Scott, that
really
a lot of people that trust you and Jason and the pick teams for the Mash and Journey Whiskey Club is like, you talk about the finish, you talk about the feel, you talk about the viscosity, you talk about the notes. And then that's where us as consumers break down. Are you a finished person? Do you like the mouthfeel more? Do you want all the notes? What do you look for in a bourbon or a rye? Just what is it for you? And I think that's kind of what we're doing here. You're kind of breaking these down to a sense to where like, okay, for the group, I think this would be the one. That's kind of what I was shooting for with this.
Well, and for me, I mean, I like that like deeper, darker, richer, like long finish profile. Sure. Like I always say like ECBP as like as kind of like a benchmark in my mind, and I can kind of work off of that. So like when I start to go through those selections, that's kind of what I'm using as my like kind of benchmark. No pun intended, but that's kind of what I use to try to gauge, is this going to be something that I really truly, enjoy as a sipping whiskey. So, man, A is really nice too. Man, that's nice too.
Yeah, like I said, man, this blind was not to wear you out or anything. I just want you to go through it and see what you like.
Yeah, it's just kind of an interesting.
Just like we're doing a barrel pick. That was kind of my intentions here. And they're not all, they're not really close, but still, like for the group overall, we'll go through.
Yeah. Boy. So I think I'm down to like my top 3 right now.
That'll work.
Now it's just a matter of kind of picking out what it is that I prefer of the 3. I'm running low here.
Sorry. Yeah, I didn't have a whole lot of some of these.
No, it's because I've been going to them and I'm just kind of getting rid of some of this stuff. So, all right. So let me. I mean, just looking at the samples, I think it's pretty evident as to like which ones I'm preferring more. Man, oh man, those are nice. All right, I'm gonna go in letter order. Man, he's nice. Man, he's nice. Well, it's got some really nice like vanilla cream and everything to it. Don't feel bad if I finish them all today. Johnny, there's a good chance, like at this point, like I'm going through these things. Don't worry, I'm a professional, guys. I'm a professional over here. Don't worry.
You know what? Here's what's
that's where I need 2 Z-biotics at this point.
Here's what's so cool about that. I know you're kidding, but nobody's ever said that out loud online. So, new T-shirt coming. Hawks the professional.
I'm a master BSer. That's for sure. That's for sure. That's what I'm a master at. It's the only thing I'm professional at.
Ed, dude, Ed, I'll get to that in a minute.
That would be a good one for like barrel picks. Don't worry, we're professionals.
Yeah.
Doesn't that feel good? Like before you start, like, don't worry, we're professionals. Everybody gets their own T-shirt.
And on the back, it says not with a question mark or something like that. Or it says like -1. We all have minus. My dad, one of the funniest damn things ever. My dad's got I have a decent personality, but my dad's is 10 times funnier than mine. My dad coached back in the early 70s. My dad coached a pony league baseball team for years, and the names of them. The name of the team was George's Stars. My dad's name is George. That was back when it was hard to get businesses and everybody to support local baseball.
Yeah.
And he called them George's Stars. He paid the money, and their numbers were always minuses, kind of like the Three Stooges. Minus 3.1 and shit. And I've got pictures of the team pictures and stuff. I've got one over here framed. It's like nobody's a positive number. And I'm like, Dad, did the parents not give you shit for that? And he's like, no,
that's
they love it.
Yeah, but that was probably back in the day when you could do that and nobody would get all like offended by things. So all right, get out there, -4. Get out there. All right, so let me think about this here. I think I know. All right. All right, so I'm down to, let's see. I think I've got my favorite. Now I need to figure out 2 and 3. I've got the other.
All right. Hey Scott, that day I'm going to see Phil and Julie for the first time Friday.
Oh, are you going to the thing in South Carolina?
Yeah, the High Wire. It's like 3 hours and 40 minutes from here. So I'm gonna go down Friday, spend the night, and go to High Wire. Get to meet David, Rare Bird 101.
Cool.
So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. We're gonna do a bottle share. So I got some cool stuff lined up. for everybody.
That'll be dangerous.
Yeah. And then I've got
hopefully you got a hotel room. I know my wife and I were trying to get out to Charleston, like maybe sometime in April. So I'll keep people tuned in. Maybe one of the nights we can.
Are you flying or are you driving?
We'll fly. Okay. So, oh yeah, look at Lance going to be there in April. So yeah, we're going to try to get there. I think sometime in April. So depending on how long we're going to be there for, maybe one of the evenings we can do a little something. I probably should run this by the wife first, but
I've got to go to see our daughter in April in Mississippi. It's the 24th to the 27th. But other than that, if it's not that, I'll come down.
I was going to say, I think South Carolina is south of where you are. So
yeah, southwest.
Yeah, we've been wanting to go to Charleston for a while, so we're looking forward to maybe getting out there. So we were my wife asked me the other day that as a kind of a non-sports person, the Brewers are playing the Yankees opening day in New York. She's like, "Hey, would you like to go to the opening day at Yankee Stadium?" I'm like, yeah, I'd love to go, except I don't want to pay like $2,000 plus for opening day tickets or something. So that'd be pretty awesome. But
dude, this Remus high rye pick at 117 that you got coming out, dude. I told Jason during the blind. I don't know if I talked about it earlier, but I immediately picked up like an American whiskey sweet on it, and for the money, this thing's a bomb.
Man, there were a lot of people I saw this year that were really, really enjoying. I know Dusty kind of had it. I know a lot of people really had that Remus kind of single barrel stuff that was in there this year, and rightfully so. I mean, hey, at the end of the day, I mean, MGP, they do a fantastic job with their whiskeys. There's just no getting around that. So I like this. Look at this. So he said, me and Renee went to Charleston for my 50th birthday. I believe we loved it. I believe maybe you loved it so much you don't even hardly remember being there. But
well, I'm responding now to that comment. I'll let you show it now.
All right, I've got my rankings.
Here we go. Top dog that was like 30 years ago. A lot has changed.
He's not 80.
Well, smells like it.
Jesus.
All right, you got your rankings. Let's do it, man. Okay, so what two barrels are we picking? Barrel one. What's your? Let's go backwards. Least favorite.
My least favorite was letter F.
Wow, because that might have been my favorite.
Yeah, that was my least favorite, and it's my least favorite because it comes across much more like a standard-ish. I don't want to say standard, but it gives me the feel of an older, like, light whiskey. That's what it kind of came across as. Like, if I had to try to guess what it was, it feels like it was an aged light whiskey. So I don't know what it was, but that's what it kind of came across as.
Highlight me.
All right, hang on.
This at letter F is 134.2 proof.
All right, so it's clearly going to probably be a light whiskey.
Maybe.
Oh, maybe not.
I got this bottle. So since we're going through these, what you have is a whole lot of stuff of what Ed sent me about 3 months ago. And it was such an epic blind. I had one of the bottles I own. The rest I bottled up and sent to you. And then since then, I have bought this bottle because of what Ed put in the blind. We'll get to that in a minute. But I found it. I got a notification it was for sale again. And this is the newest batch of Smoke Eye Hill 5-year 134.2 proof.
All right, I'm gonna say this right now. There is 0% chance. There's a 0% chance that is a George T. Stagg killer. To me, no way. Like it. There's no way that matches up to that. But that's smoke. Okay, so I'll say this. That is the
you got to
first
remember
time,
though, Scott, 5-year blue corn.
that is the first time I've had that. So that was not something that was overly familiar to me, other than the fact that it felt very like kind of light whiskey-ish in terms of like what.
I think that's where the 5-year come in on the youth side.
Maybe. So that's Smoke Eye Hill. All right.
134.2.
130.
So what I was telling you, Scott, was I got that bottle in the mail.
Yep.
It was back during the playoffs when the Yankees, before they choked out.
Mm-hmm.
And I was drinking beer. I was like, I'm not drinking whiskey tonight. I drank beer. The doorbell rang. The fucking box showed up. And I was like, oh, God. And the original one's right here, there. And I had about 3 pours out of it. And I was like, holy shit, do I like this? So I jumped online and bought another one. That's the one I just showed you. And I had the opportunity to try it before I bought it, and I fell in love with it. And here's the thing, guys, that bottle's under $100.
Yeah.
That's a buy.
Is that a Kentucky bourbon though?
Yeah, I think it is MGP.
Ed,
help me with that. Aged at least 5 years. Hold on a minute. Non-chill filtered.
Distilled.
Barrel aged and bottled by Hazelwood's. Yeah, I think it is. Somewhere on here it says.
Doesn't say distilled in or anything.
I think it probably does, buddy. It's been a long night.
Yeah.
But it's at least 5 years. So it could be 5.
Somebody will let us know. Somebody knows.
Exclusively distilled for Hazelwood Spirits in Lawrenceburg, Indiana.
Okay, so that's MGP. Okay. All right. Man, that's 134.2. Here's what I'll say about that. It is to me very sweet. It's very approachable. It's easy to drink. I would have never have guessed 134.2. Like I would have probably capped that at 115. So that's a dangerously easy 134 proof to eat or to drink. And again, I've also got this up against, like, as much as that is my least favorite. I feel like once we do a reveal, like I think I'll feel better why that was maybe like
sure.
That, so it wasn't on par. Like if we're doing a barrel pick, like this is where this feels like we're a little bit more youth is there. There's a little bit more heat that's there, not as well.
Well, let me say this. Let me say this. When I told you I wanted you to look at this as a barrel pick, there's 3 on this list that I think me and you would say after we tasted A through F, if me and you and Jason and everybody was off to the side, be like, I think we might have done this before. Maybe a little bit. The blue corn gives it the mouthfeel, the viscosity. Then the proof kicks it up with the gas and the black pepper and everything. But, I just thought for an $85 bottle, I thought this son of a bitch was a hitter for me. But that's me. I don't know. I don't find
Marty, take note to what Top Dog says.
I know he is. Fuck. He's threatening me. All right.
As good as that was, it was not on par with some of these others that you sent me. I'll say that. Not that it's not a good bourbon, just the way it was.
Hey, dude, you're on track. I'm just going to tell you, you're on track. So,
all right. So, and what is the cost of that bottle at retail roughly?
$85 to $89.
Okay. All right. So let's just say $90. Okay. All right. I'm good with that. Especially
like Richie says, it's $85 and worth it. Richie, if I saw it on the shelf here for $85, I'd have a third one. I would. I love it.
It's and that's that. I don't think it's overly like available. Is that something you can still get at this point? Has it kind of lost?
I'll just tell everybody I did a Google search one night and I saved the site. It is
because I know a lot of people were going crazy over it for a while, and I never ultimately got a bottle.
And it went quick, but it's still available. I think on Blackwell's.
Yeah, I didn't want to buy it at secondary, so.
But no, that's what I paid for it, like $85 on Blackwell's. I can look at it again, but here.
Yeah, I'd like to just try it. Like this is one of those things where
$85, no shit, right here.
Okay. Yeah. And what kind of
Out of
ages do we
stock
have
right now, but it's $85 on.
See, one thing I think that's really helping this thing out is the proof that it has to it. I think it's allowing this thing to shine. If it was much less like proofy, I think even if you were down in that 115, 117 range, I don't think it would taste as good as it probably is. Like I think it would really feel like a young whiskey would come across. That's my opinion, whatever. It is what it is. So, all right.
I think you're 100% correct, Scott. I think the blue corn makes a difference in that bottle, but I think also for what you get out of it with the proof and the 5-year and it being something MGP like that's a little bit different. I think for $85, I think for me, that's why I was all over it twice.
Yeah. I mean, I had I had proofy light whiskey written down as what I had.
I can see that for sure.
But anyway, okay.
Right,
so, all right. So let's go on. My number five of the night was D. Was letter D. I had that again. This felt a little bit younger in comparison to some of the others. This is where I got more of those summer fruits, the strawberry, raspberry, a little bit of like a watermelon. It came across as a little bit hotter, which sometimes can be that youthful kind of graininess. So letter D was my number 5.
Did you write down a proof at all with that one?
I did not, but
it doesn't matter. I mean, try it and just throw a guess on your palate, and I'll tell you what it is. Ed, help me if I miss it. Because this one I was way off.
I'm gonna say one. I'm gonna say 112.
Okay, that is a Stag Junior Stagger Cruise pick from California, 133 proof.
Really?
Yep. That is I think Vic and Ed.
What is this though? What is it?
It's a Stag Junior.
That's Stag Junior?
Yes, sir. Ed, put in the chat what you know about that bottle.
Really? That's Stag Junior?
Yeah, that fruit bomb is freaking crazy. And it's a pick.
That's 130 plus proof.
133, dog. L Cerrito's pick. Ed said.
I'd have never guessed that in a million years that was a Stag Junior pick.
So here's the funny thing, Scott.
I mean, it's bright, like it's fruity. I mean, that's all those fruit notes that are there, but
I did this blind about 2 months ago with the exception of F.
Yeah.
And when we get done, I think Ed will probably remember what I did. So let me give Ed some comps here. All of these, but F, Ed sent me. So when I got F, I wanted to add it, the Smoke Eye Hill, because I had 1.5 ounces left of all of them. Mm-hmm. That's why when we were talking in private, it's like, Scott, I got some shit, dude. I wanted to share it. I didn't want to do that again by myself because some of this stuff. But anyway, all right, moving on.
Stag Junior, that is.
That's
all right.
Stag Junior.
I mean, the only thing that adds up to that for me would just be the fruitiness that's there. That's the only thing that adds up to Buffalo Trace for me on that. But I would have never have guessed because I mean, with those stags, oftentimes, I mean, you'll get heavy, like rich, like dark fruits, and I didn't get any of that.
And then you get the pow. Really. You get that pow of the proof a lot of times, even if it's 128, 131, whatever. You get the pow. This some bitch is 133, and it doesn't do that.
Originally, I had 122 proof, and then you said I was thinking maybe it was lower. I had 122 written down, And then I lowered it by 10 proof points because I thought maybe for sure that this was going to be something that drank hotter in terms of proof. So I probably should have just stuck to my guns. I would have maxed out at 122 on this. We're still 11 proof points higher.
Yeah.
Jesus. Okay. All right. So my number 4 was letter C.
That is Smoke Eye Hill, 131.4 proof.
Man, okay. So, all right, what was that? 131.4? All right, so we got another Smoke Eye Hill. All right. It's starting to kind of creep back in. So there's something. Now, here's what I will say about letter C. C drank much darker than what F did. F drank much.
Say it again. Say it. What did?
Letter C drank much darker, a darker profile than what F was.
I agree. I liked C better than F.
They weren't, for me, they weren't even like necessarily in the same like category. So like, so I'll say this, like, I know Richie and a few other people were clearly like advocates for Smoke Eye Hill. Now maybe this is going to be a little bit more of a redemption for me, but C was drinking much more in that darker, richer profile that I enjoyed. It was different than what F. Like F felt like it was a younger, hotter, like more American whiskey. C was starting to get a little bit of that darker, richer profile that I enjoy in a bourbon. Like that's why originally when I said A, B, and C, like those were contenders. I liked those profiles. So I can see why C kind of crept in there for me, because this is starting to get into that category of whiskeys that I enjoy.
C for me, I've got my notes on the side here. C, when I did this the first time, C to me was so much more richer. I even got, I think, a little more sugar pull than I did off F, the 134.2 proof. Yeah, but when I finally found it available again, they did the 131.4 is gone. It's long gone. And the 134.
So Benny is saying that it's on seal box. I would say this. I think individually and on its own, if you could buy a bottle of the Smoke Eye Hill that I'm drinking right now, and if Marty says that is the one, I
think it's gone. I don't quote me on that, but I think it's gone. The 131.4.
If that's the one that's 131.4 proof for $85, I would say that would be
actually
by the time you pay for shipping, $100.
Hang on, Ed told me
I would be fine with that. I think that's a perfect range for that whiskey.
Ed said he bought the one that he got that he sent me. The 131.4 was $65 freaking dollars.
Ben is saying the one that he sees on Sealbox right now, 131.4. If that's it. And it's the same bottle, then I would say if you can get that for whatever that is,
it 85, Ben? How much is it showing?
If it's $100 with shipping, I think that's $100 whiskey like that. I mean, for me right now, like F and D have been the two outliers of ones that were not in competition between A, B, C, and E, like from a profile. So $85. So shipping, you're going to be at what, $100, 105. It's probably worth. I think that Smoke Eye Hill at 131.4 in today's day and age is probably
I have a case.
is probably worth, $100. Like that's $100 whiskey in today's market. I would have no problem paying that for.
So that's what me and Ed were shooting for with that one, because I'm glad you said that.
So C is nice. I mean, now again, this is the interesting part of two Smoke Eye Hills. These are in complete opposite categories for me.
Sure,
like, complete. So anyway, but. All right, so the BE says 65 plus shipping on batch 1 of the Smoke Eye Hill. Is this batch 1?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I would buy batch 1 a million times over.
I don't even know if it. I don't think it has a batch number.
Yeah. C is a nice bottle. So like if that's batch 1 or whatever 130.14 is, that's a nice.
Yeah, this was Minnick's whiskey of the year.
All right, so Ritter is saying 134.2. Okay. All right, I'll say this. So wait, he's saying that this right here is his whiskey of the year.
No. Minnick's was the 131.4.
Letter C?
Yes.
Was his bourbon of the year.
Last year, I think. Guys, Ben knows. Guys, clarify that for me. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about bourbon of the year. Like that's C.
I can see if Scott, if he said value of the year, maybe.
Sure. I mean, it's with shipping a sub or ish $100 bourbon, which I have zero problem. Ah, man, I don't know about. I don't. There, if you're gonna throw this into a blind with
William LaRue, George T.
Yeah, there's no way that's going to hold up to those profiles. There's no way.
Talking mouthfeels and shit.
But still, that is a very, very good in today's day and age $100 whiskey. And like I see Mary's in here. If I put C up against like a Detling, there's no way in hell that profile is going to beat, in my opinion, that profile. It's just not. Like when you talk about complexity and all of that, like I don't know. And to Richie's point, like that K-Luke batch 10, ridiculous. That thing is fantastic. That is a great bourbon. So anyway, I feel like I've either like done well for myself, or
I've done great. I think you've done really good. I think what you have said and the notes that you've pulled and the proof you're at, and the way you've eliminated these one by one, I have zero problem with what you've done.
I like the fact that 2 Smoke Eye Hills were in here that had 2 completely different profiles.
Well, the blind I did was A through E, and then I got F in the mail. And I was like, I love F so much that I couldn't try Whiskey Nose Can't Wait. Yeah. So I didn't have enough of the 131.4 to try against the 134.2. But I knew 134.2 was a hitter. So I was like, I'm going to throw it in as F. So,
man, they're nice. I would just define them as different.
Yeah.
You know, and here's one thing I'll say. If these are in that 5 or 6 year range,
5 minimum
at those proofs, you know, for me, like C, if you like a little bit of a darker, richer profile, then like C would be that. If you like that more fruity, maybe more like kind of, you know, apple peel, light caramels, like F might be your thing. You know, F drank way more Buffalo Tracy light whiskey than C did to me. So, you know, but it's kind of interesting. That was kind of a cool perspective on that, because now I have a little bit of a baseline for like what Smoke Eye Hill is. And I don't think that anybody can just like blindly buy a Smoke Eye Hill and expect the same thing, because in my opinion, you've got 2 completely different kind of whiskeys right there.
It's like old Ozzy used to say. He goes, "You've had your whole life to make your first record." So Smoke Eye Hill had their whole career to pick batch 1 at 131.4. You know, and I think what they've done with batch 2 at 134.2 is phenomenal. But yeah, that 131.4 that Ed sent me was just top notch. Yeah, I know, Rob. Yeah, I can send you some of this. Don't worry, Hawk. If you didn't do well, you won't remember it tomorrow.
No, I'll tell you what. Like, I mean, that's always one thing you'll get from me. I'll give you I'll give you my honest, you know, opinion of whatever that is. And again, this is all subjective. And the last thing that I want to do is like, I feel like it's no different than like sports teams or whatever. Like when you start talking shit about somebody else's team, they get defensive. Now it's no different. If you enjoy it, great. That's in the whiskey world. That's ultimately all that really matters. So if you like it, that's great. I mean, we all have what it is that we enjoy more. C for me from a Smoke Eye Hill standpoint, I think ultimately becomes a pretty darn good value considering it's $100 delivered to your door. And in today's day and age, we all know what you get for $100. Oftentimes, you're getting a nice whiskey with that one. So anyway.
All right, buddy.
All right.
So you're down 3, right?
All right. So my number 4. Do I have number 4 on here? Wait. Yeah. Okay. C was my number 4. So number 3, my number 3 was A. My number 3 was A.
A is absolute garbage. You've had it before. I'll give you a hint. It's out of Kentucky.
Hang on.
Top Dog says it's absolute trash, so I'm just quoting him.
I mean, right off the get-go, it was fantastic. So I would say this.
I'm totally making up bullshit.
No. I know. I think the top 3 are like very much in my wheelhouse. I'll say that right now. So
well, you did absolutely no wrong with picking A.
Man, A is really, really nice. It does have some sweetness that's
very. And here's the thing about that bottle with A, the more you get down in, and me and Top Dogs talked about it. Me and Jason me and Jay have always talked about this since it came out. What's a proof point you think that one is? I know you just tried it, but I think you'll be right.
I don't know, 117 to 119 range.
You're pretty close. It's 125.
Oh,
that's Green River Mash and Journey pick.
Fuck. I mean,
it's good.
It was nice, man.
There's nothing wrong with
it. Was nice. I mean, I liked it. It was tough. I'll tell you what, A, B, and E were extremely, extremely difficult for me. They were all definitely beautiful finish profile that I love in a whiskey. So, that on its own, I mean, I know exactly what that thing tastes like on its own. And when we chose it that day, it was a fantastic whiskey. Now,
JG, God Almighty,
definitely a treat for. Now I'm going to be very interested to see like what ultimately kind of comes ahead of that. But man, A was nice. This for me is where the split off was. I think A. What do I have? I have A, B, and E. A, B, and E were in a class of their own for me. So this is where it starts to get very interesting.
You're going to be proud of yourself when we're done. So what's your next one? What's your second place?
Would be letter B.
Okay,
that'd be my second place.
Do you have a proof at all? I think you can get this one close if you take another swig.
I don't have very much left, but I'm going to say one. Man, that is a rich bourbon right there. And I don't know, 125, 124. Really?
That is a Stag 22A.
They're okay. So I'll say this, like, I mean, that Stag versus that pick, that is night and day. There is no comparison to that. Like that is a fantastic bourbon right there. And is everything that I enjoy about a great bourbon. It's got the richness, the complexity, the finish, the mouthfeel, all of that. Like that is a great bourbon right there.
Yeah. So
boy, that's a tough one. That's a great bourbon right there. What was it? 132. So that's Stag, which
22A.
And I have 22A as well. And the proof again, 132.
Yep. Even.
Point. Oh, even. Okay. Man, that was good. Really good. All right. So fuck. This is where it was tough. It was down between C and E for my number 1 and 2. And I went with number 1. I can't wait to find out what this is. I have almost none left, but
is that E?
Yeah, it's E.
Well, here's where I was hoping you would literally miss this one. I was hoping maybe C or F, if not A, and maybe B would be.
And why? And so, like, when you say that, why do you say that?
Because when I tell you what E is, it's going to be like, okay. And E is George T. Stagg 2023 138.7.
Yeah. So I mean, it stood out. I mean, it stood out. Like, I mean, this now it was I mean, C and E to me were like very, or not, yeah, C, B, yeah, B and E were very close. And maybe this is where that bubble gum was coming out. Maybe this was that Buffalo Tracy type of profile. But I'll tell you what, E was kind of like, I don't want to say an easy number 1 for me, but it was probably once I tried it and tasted it, it was probably the biggest, richest, boldest.
Complex.
Yeah. I mean, it had everything. And like I said early on, like, that is a whiskey you want to sit down and just take your time with. I mean, it felt like that kind of whiskey to me.
100%. And so now that we're through it, I can explain to you what this blind is. About 2 months ago, Ed sent me A, B, C, D, E. And I went through them. No idea what was what. And that's the first time I tried Smoke Eye Hill. And that complexity, that barrel note, that 131 proof tasted a lot less than that. I had it in the low 120s, if not the teens. I had Smoke Eye Hill first. And I think I had the George T. Stagg pick second. I'd have to go back and look, but that's when I fell in love with Smoke Eye Hill. And when I realized that beat the George T. Stagg, and I texted Jason, and that's when he told me I was a fucking idiot for picking Smoke Eye Hill over a George T. Stagg and all that shit. But as you go through this, you can see how close and the prices of these different bottles and the availability of these different bottles are so close that this to me, when I did it with Ed, is now what Jason sent tonight was pretty fucking epic. But when I did that with Ed, it blew my mind, just to be honest. I thought, my Lord. And I had your Green River. You know, when I first got the Green River pick from Mash and Journey, wasn't crazy about it. I had a couple more that I've got back here that I thought were better. But as I went back to it, the more it opened up, the more the fruit notes started kicking, more that the proof notes and the viscosity started happening, that it bumped it up.
Yeah.
So when that was already in this blind, I was like, okay, that's perfect. Let's leave that there. We've got a George T. B-Tac. I've got 2 Smoke Eye Hills with different proofs.
Yeah.
And a Stagg Junior. So,
all right. So let me, before I forget, so here's a very interesting thing with all of this. So 1, 2, and 3, we have a, so let's see, number 3. Number 3 was, what was number? My number 3 was was that Stagg Junior?
The 22A.
Whatever A was.
A was Green River.
Oh yeah, A was Green River. So that was my number 3. Okay. Which we termed Jorge T. Swag. Okay.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah. So then my number 2 was Stagg Junior.
22A.
22A. And my number 1 was George T. Stagg.
Yep.
So clearly there is a kind of profile. I see Jason in there. I mean, this is very like I've gone nothing but stag. I've gone nothing but either Buffalo Trace or Buffalo Trace E. So like all night long, that was that dark, deep, rich.
Well, it's
profile.
funny. It's funny you say that Buffalo Trace profile because Rob McCorkle's texting me and he's like, he's saying fucking bubble gum. He's getting the gum. He's getting the grape note. He's like, he has thrown out Buffalo Trace one time, but he's not gone back to it. And I'm like,
yeah,
but no, you're right.
And here's what I'll say about Buffalo Trace. And admittedly, like we've done no picks with Buffalo Trace. It's not something that I drink very often. I've got one bottle of like an older George T. Stag that I don't drink very often. It's not, I don't drink just Buffalo Trace, just a regular bourbon very often, but all of these have had one thing in common, and that's all been that dark, deep, rich profile with a great finish to it. So they all had that like similarity to it, which is what I kind of default to. So it doesn't surprise me that this is like where this thing kind of landed for me. Like when the top three, honestly, on any given day, depending on what it was, I could have flip-flopped those three all day long. So it was,
you know, and what's cool, Scott, is you're talking, hell, I'll just,
here's one thing. Let me address like what Jason's saying right now. So I don't think you can blindly say, and this is based on just me trying these two Smoke Eye Hills tonight. I don't think you can blindly lump Smoke Eye Hill together, because for me, it was my least favorite. And then one of them was like my number 4. And they were two completely different profiles. And that's what I'll say. Like, I know Ben threw it up before, but whatever that number 4, that 131.4, if that was batch 2 of the Smoke Eye Hill, to me, whatever that was, that one was far superior to me than what number 6 was. That was 134.2. So if you can get 131.4, I think that's $100 whiskey all day long. I would have no problem drinking that thing at all. Like, that was a really, really nice bourbon. So, but again, is it a George T. Stag killer? No, it's not. It's not
a competitor it's a competitor with Stag Junior.
Sure, it would probably compete in that range. You know, if you had like letter C involved, I think it could hold up, because Stag or Stag Junior, those are rich, fruitier, more complex, bold bourbons. Like, you know, like F tasted like a light whiskey to me. Like, it just did. It came across as a more, you know, aged light whiskey. So whatever. I would say that was the question with Smoke Eye Hill. How much variation? Yeah, that's 100%. Like, you can't blindly just lump Smoke Eye Hill together and expect the same thing. Like, you would have to know exactly which one you were buying and what profile you like, because if you didn't, you might get something that you just don't enjoy. I didn't enjoy F nearly as much as I did letter C. So, but a fun blind. The fun part was, the interesting part, we had Jorge T. Swag, which was our Green River, which was why we named it that, of course. And then we had Stag Junior, and then we had George T. Stag.
Yeah, Stag Juniors.
2 Stag Juniors, yeah.
Yep. You had a pick and 22A.
Yeah, and again, those 2 Stag Juniors, they couldn't have been more further from each other than what they were to me again. So, but man, that was fun to kind of do that comparison. And again, this is always the fun part of doing, you know, any blind and comparing anything with whatever those other, you know, whiskeys are, is figuring out what it is you enjoy about a whiskey. I know I know everything that I enjoy about a particular whiskey and why. So like when we do our barrel picks, like, I mean, I make no bones about it. Like I am a little bit more straight and narrow. Like I know exactly what it is I like, what I want. And Jason is much more adventurous from that standpoint. So again, that works. I think sometimes we get a good combination of those two things, which a lot of times works its way into it being a pretty darn good barrel.
Yeah,
So, so that's what happened. We don't always agree. We don't just agree blindly on everything. And I think if we did, it would be boring, and I don't think it would give us nearly as kind of open or a field of these different profiles. So
I agree.
that's what makes it fun to do. And then on top of that, for any barrel pick, you're getting the perspective of everybody else who's kind of interjecting, their feel, what it is they're getting. So you put it all together and you try to get the best possible whiskey you can for whatever the group is. It doesn't matter who's doing the pick. Right. That's always the thing. That's always the best part of it, is getting everyone's opinion on what that is. So, man, that was good. Fantastic blind. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, and you can thank Ed too, because he's the one that started it.
Man, good job, Ed. You put a good blind right there together. And it's always kind of cool to put two different batches up against each other just as a comparison. And that
we
was
did it twice. Yeah.
Man, that was a fun one. So I don't know if anybody had any idea that was what was gonna come to fruition, but
yeah,
pretty good stuff. Thanks for sending that blind. I appreciate it. Man. That was a fun one. This is the fun part about doing a blind. It's you never know what you're going to get. Everybody knows what it is they like, and that's always how they're going to go.
See, I thought about hitting you or Jason up for a blind of just Mash and Journey picks, but that's really not a fair blind, because the differentiality between all of them is not. It's this here was kind of the same, because these were almost within 4 points of proof, and you're dealing with things that have kind of a similar profile.
Yeah.
But, maybe end of the year, we'll do something all together with Mash and Journey picks or Dusty Dan picks or something like that. We can do something just a little bit different. But yeah, I thought, and who knows, end of next year, we might have something different from other than Smoke Eye Hill that's a competitor.
Yeah. I think doing these blinds are always fun, plus from a standpoint of just everybody out there watching or whatever it may be, it gives you a good idea or perspective on, value. We're talking about a Smoke Eye Hill that is with shipping let's just call it $100. Okay.
Sure.
Shipped to your door, $100 versus a George T Stag that 90 whatever 799, I don't know what the percentage would be, that nobody's going to get that bottle
if you're lucky.
Almost no one's going to get it. Let's just say that almost nobody's going to get that bottle. So when you start talking about that in comparison, that becomes a very valid thing. So, that I like, the George T Stag or the Stag Juniors, whatever we want to call them, again, they're a little bit more difficult to find, but they can be found much more easily than a BTAC can. But a Smoke Eye Hill or a Great Green River pick, whatever it may be, whoever you get it from, much more readily available. So you can see we're just doing a little bit of, your own like kind of whiskey research and figuring out what it is that you like can save you a few bucks and not make you have to chase after a million different things.
I think too, Scott, kind of going a little bit deeper than what me and Jason started talking about tonight on picks, and what you're just describing now is some of the Patreons that a lot of these members of ours are part of. Mm-hmm. Some of the picks are $300 plus. that is a hard pill to swallow if you can't try before you buy. And
Yeah.
most of everything that I do with Dusty Dan, Katie and Ethan, Hello Again Whiskey Friends, and the things you and Jason do, and bring in people from the group, very affordable, and the yield is usually there most of the time. And for me, that's where the money for me, especially in 2024 going into 2025, is going to be focused on. I told myself when we started 2024 I was going to buy more scotch. I really didn't, because some of the picks y'all did, the Green River and some of these things, I was like, holy shit, this is coming out. They're going to let the do picks of this. That's what I started focusing on. And for me, I've had zero complaints. I've got, out of all the picks I bought last year, I think one of them is trash, and it's and Ethan tried my bottle, and he thinks I got a bad bottle, and that does happen from time to time. But
Sure.
other than that, it's easy to drive by your freaking liquor store when you know you've got these groups you're a part of, and you can be part of these picks. For me, that guys, you're getting stuff that these animals are waiting in line for it 4 hours before, like I talked about on my stream today. So just sign up, man. Just join a club.
Well, I mean, that's a lot of it. I mean, I think from that standpoint, I mean, I mean, I've gotten much more, lazy from the standpoint of like going and waiting in lines. And I like to be part of that. And I probably should do a little bit more of it just from the camaraderie standpoint. I don't necessarily care about what I get or whatever it may be. Just being there would be kind of fun to do once in a while. And I haven't done it in years, to be honest, but it can be a lot. Like, you spend a lot of time and effort to potentially go and wait in a line for hours to not get what it is that you want, and I'll advocate for like whiskey clubs. It doesn't matter which one you are, whether it's ours or others. You may get or enjoy the bourbons or whiskeys that they're giving you, and that's great. And that's what it's all about. At the end of the day, just enjoy whatever that particular whiskey is. The community, that all makes those things better. It's like being in wine country and trying a $10 bottle that tastes like it might be $100 because you're in the moment.
Yeah.
It's like being part of a club. Like, maybe that stuff is better to you or whatever it may be. But really at the end of the day, drink whatever it is you like. I mean, it doesn't matter what that is. So everyone's going to like something a little bit different for a different reason. And that's fine. I mean, no one is necessarily right or wrong. It's just,
that's what makes this great, man.
Yeah. Drink what you like. I mean, I can't tell anybody else what something tastes like. I can't do that. I can only tell you what I think it tastes like, what you think it tastes like, what Jason, what anybody else thinks. And that's the important part. You find guides that may line up with whatever it is. And if that works for you, great. If it doesn't, find those people that it does work for you. So,
hey, Scott, the link I just posted in the chat, that is for Big Vic's cousin in California. They're doing a fundraiser for that family that lost everything in the California fires.
Can't even imagine.
On January on Saturday, the 18th at 8 p.m. I didn't do the picture or anything, but guys, go over there. $5 will get you in the giveaway. If you have bottles to donate, it's not too late. This family really needs your help. So
yeah, I would say it doesn't even matter what you get in return. If you can give $5, $10 more, whatever it may be for any of these people. I mean, there's a lot of people who have literally nothing at this point. Even if you do, I mean, I used to work in insurance. I understand that world a lot. And even if you do have insurance, it does not cover everything. I'll say that. Like, there are a lot of things that people will be underinsured or whatever it may be. And that's the vast majority of people. So whatever that is, anything that people will do or can do to whether it's a particular family or in general, I would say maybe here's one thing I will say, maybe vet whatever the foundation that you're going to give your money to, because you have to be careful of scams and all that, because there will be people out there that are just trying to make money for themselves and don't give what's about other people, and that's unfortunate. But if you know something or it can be part of something that you do know or are passionate about, then fine, that's great. But there are a lot of people who are clearly in need of things. That is maybe one of the worst things I've ever seen in my entire life. And it just keeps getting worse. It is not getting better. That's for sure. So, your thoughts and prayers. I know we say that blindly a lot, it feels like these days, but your heart goes out to these people for what it is they're having to go through. So.
Tomorrow's fun. I love seeing single barrel picks in the end of the year rankings like Hello with Friends do. Most of us hardcore. Yep. I agree. It's awesome, man. The community with some of the stuff, that I'll give you great. I mean, we can go all day, Corbin Cash picks.
Yeah.
Corbin Cash non-picks aren't in North Carolina. They're not in Tennessee. They're not in South Carolina. I mean, anywhere I go, they're not here. Keep Hard Truth, not in North Carolina. It's in Tennessee, but fucking old Dominic. I mean, I can go on and on.
Hey, speaking of Corbin Cash, do we know, like, based on where they are, like how things are going for them? Like, were they affected by anything? I don't know where they
anything. I follow them on Instagram and Facebook, and I've not seen anything.
Yeah, I don't know necessarily like what part of California that they're in, but man, it's
always
it is just it's I mean, to just see these things like continuing to burn, it's just been like days and days and days of like the same thing. And it's like firefighters from all over the country who've been called in to try to do whatever they can. I don't even know how you can like even keep up with that. It is ridiculous. So okay, they're in Fresno. So okay. All right. Well, that's man. Anyway, all right. Well, I won't keep you guys any longer. Thank you guys so much for being a part of this for almost 2 hours and 15 minutes. We greatly appreciate it. And Marty, thanks for sending a fantastic blind. It's fun to go through these.
And Ed started this, so he's 90% of the thank you. I just added a little bit to it.
Well, it all helps. Thanks, Ed, for starting the blind. That's for sure. So, but
about 130 from 3,000. Go sub, please.
Oh, really?
Sorry. Yeah, I don't mean to plug myself.
Should we stay on all night long until you get to 3,000?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
No.
All right. It's all you get. All right. So for everybody right now, like if you have a friend or anybody who hasn't subscribed, we're going to stay on all night long until we've got confirmation that Marty's at 3,000. We're not doing anything.
Scott, do you have a plan for next Tuesday yet?
Man, I don't. So oftentimes I'll wing it unless I'm going to have a guest on. But like right now, I don't really have much of anything. Are you thinking of another blind or what?
Well, I've got. I
can send you one. What do you think of that?
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, because I made enough fool of myself with Jason tonight. So yeah,
man, I could send you. Man, I'd really have a good old time with this. I haven't sent anybody a blind in quite some time.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Yeah.
Maybe we could talk to Jason, get you guys all involved. I'll send you guys maybe the same exact thing. Get everybody on and see where you guys rank things.
Yeah, that's cool. Let's do that.
Maybe we'll do it. I'll talk to Jason. See what he sees.
You're welcome, Scott. So is everybody in the chat. I've got Nancy Fraley, the cousin, coming on Tuesday to just talk about. We're just going to talk about Tanager. We're not going to talk about Magnus. We're not going to talk about anything else.
Okay.
Just talk about how that started, how it became fruition. Scott isn't getting any younger. You should take advantage, Marty. Yeah, I know. Well, listen. Me and Scott on Whiskey Tube in our community, we're the old men. We know that.
We're the old timers.
Me and Scott's talked about this many AARP times. We know that.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, I've got Nancy coming. Jump in if you want to ask questions. I'll be glad to bring you on screen. I've always said that, so I'll post the link. But next Tuesday, strictly Tanager with Nancy, the cigar blend batch 1. So
yeah, that'll be fun. Well, we'll talk offline here in a second, see what we can get figured out, maybe something for next week. But
all right, guys.
Hey, at the end of the day, we appreciate you guys all the support. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Thanks, Marty. Thanks, Ed, for starting it all. And we'll see you guys next Tuesday with something bigger, better, bolder, stronger, whatever it may be. So cheers, guys. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate all the support. Love you guys. See ya.
See you guys.